Hey, it's Thursday, which means we've processed more orders. So this is behind the counter number 2, and we're going to talk about what we ordered. So today we got in a couple new Pokemon. This is a Charizard GX. So you have EXs and GXs as kind of the top foil levels, and Charizard is a GX in this one and one of the classics. So if you can look real close there, oh, I'm bad at this. There we go. The Charmander looks pretty classic, and the Charizard GX is actually one of those etched foils that you can feel. So this is a pretty nice pack. We brought this in because Pokemon's been selling better for us lately. Our last Trainer Tuesday, we had about 8 kids. We didn't have Pokemon Trainer Tuesday tonight, but we sold some more Pokemon. We sold some of our singles out of our 25-cent section. We sold some of our EX GXs out of the $3 and under box, and we sold a box set like this. So Pokemon's doing well. If you want to bring your kids in, Trainer Tuesday, we'll probably continue to order more of that. We'll have more firing of Shining Legends. So we have Ho-Oh here, and we got a couple more things like pins and stuff, really easy Christmas gifts, really easy presents. If your kid does chores and then wants to earn some money and learn how to spend it, we can teach them about value in Pokemon. You know, we'd be honest and explain that you don't always get more value than your pack costs. But Pokemon's something that's growing here. It is one of the strongest TCGs or trading card games worldwide. Has pretty good histories, getting a better secondary market. The competitive scene keeps growing. So Pokemon's an investment area for us. We also brought in some interesting games like Chutes and Ladders. So Chutes and Ladders really isn't a high-level strategy game that people have never seen before. Most people have played Chutes and Ladders, and that's why we brought it in. So My Little Pony just came out in a video. I went to it with my daughter. But we also brought in Trouble. We brought in, oh, what's that game? Twister, where you put your body in other places and try to go around the people. We brought in a generic Monopoly. We've probably sold 6 or 7 different versions of Monopoly since we opened up, but for the first time we have a generic one. We got Go. We have Spider-Man Guess Who, Avengers Trouble. So we figured if we're going to try to get more and more moms, more casual gamers, more 10 to 12-year-olds that want to sit down and have a face-to-face conversation with their friends instead of text, we want to give them something to do that they're familiar with. So if you walk into our door and you look to the right, on the second gondola we have a very casual section of games, and they're all together, so you can find Monopoly, Trouble, Guess Who, and Twister all in the same section. So we brought in some branding with like My Little Pony, Avengers, Spider-Man, things that our clientele will know. And we brought the common games in with them. So you can get specialty games like this at My 12 Games. We also got, this one's going to my family. Actually, the first person to buy this was my sister-in-law. And we'll play it with them, and we'll take home our own copy. Spoils of the job. But this is an expansion. So this isn't the game you can play all on its own. But this is the Harry Potter Hogwarts Battle Monster Box. So Harry Potter is a deck building game. I don't know if you really call it a board game. It's really a card game. But inside of it, there's 7 different decks of cards, and they're for all 7 books. So you play as the young Harry Potter crew, young Hermione, young Ron, Neville. And then about midway through, you start aging. Your characters change. And the opponents change based on the book, and the spells change based on the book. So it's very thematic in the story. And my son's been reading Harry Potter probably the last 4 months with his father. I think they're in book 5, maybe 6. I'd have to double check. But they've been reading forever, 30 minutes a night on Harry Potter, and we played the board game while we were doing it. So I'm going to be Luna Lovegood now. That's the coolest part of the expansion is you get new characters, new monsters, but Luna is the biggest draw for me because she is a new hero, and I would love to try to play as her. So we do expand. Harry Potter is one of the hottest games out there in terms of it's a Mensa Select game. It sells really well. We're not on the first flight of Harry Potter. We're on the second flight. It sold so hot, the small store didn't get copies at the beginning. We'd have actually had to pre-order this in February, and we weren't open. So we just now got it in. Our family's going to play through it. We probably have, 12 to 14 different deck building games over there, plus expansions. Me being a card player, having played Magic since I was 13, those deck building games are really attractive to me. I like Ascension, I like Legendary, I like the Harry Potter game, I like Seven Wonders. So if your family likes card games at all, or if you've ever played Seven Wonders, we had a mom and 2 kids in, and they told me they'd played Seven Wonders, they'd played Catan. They'd played Settlers of Catan, and they'd played Ticket to Ride. And I was like, great, those are some staples of the industry. Let me show you some games like them that you might enjoy too. And I pointed out Harry Potter and said it was a good deck building game, sort of similar to Seven Wonders. So if you want to come into Mindscope Games and you're like, well, I think it'd be great to have more face-to-face interaction and help my family build math and reading skills through board games, or I just really love to learn new games, or I like to compete, or that's my bro time, is I beat somebody in a board game, we can help you find the right one. And we do. We have about 200 board games in stock right now, and we get new ones all the time. And we're still a small business, so we order one or two. I ordered 3 of these because our family wanted them, but we have lots of different board games in stock, and we try to learn about them, and we have our board game library and all that. But we are trying to reach a wider audience with the board games. Honestly, there's so many board games out there with so many different subjects, so many different themes, so many different strategy types, that I think board games have hit the point where they're for everybody. Okay, I won't say Magic the Gathering's for everybody, and Pokemon doesn't hit every kid, but they do have a wide appeal. But any family can come and play a board game. So we're investing heavily in board games, thinking that we can get any family inside our store, or at least more families. So another thing you should know for behind the counter, we have a radio ad that is going to go, I think, starting tomorrow in the Great Bend area. So if you hear Mindscope Games on the radio, woohoo! We're trying to get the word out there. I mean, most of what we've done for advertising has been on Facebook, and it's been, mostly free. We do some targeted ads. If we want to advertise Pokemon product, we pick people in a 25-mile radius that have indicated they like Pokemon on Facebook. That's a pretty easy hit. But the people that like Magic the Gathering or Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon on Facebook, hopefully 5 months in, we're going into our 5th month, hopefully they already know about us. And if they don't, hopefully their friends are telling them soon. But the people we need to reach with our advertising money are the people that haven't already heavily invested in like a collectible card game or a trading game, that have played Monopoly and might enjoy Big Bang Monopoly, or they've played some version of Zelda on a Nintendo and want some face-to-face interaction with a game. So we have lots of opportunities. We're investing in staples like Pokemon, hoping that Pokemon will continue to grow here. We saw a lot more Magic and a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh! Than Pokemon so far, but our professor program approval has gone through. They did a background check on me. They make sure our store sells things that are appropriate for children, that we don't have any non-children appropriate content, that we're safe, that we're well lit, those kind of things. And we are almost good to go. We can host tournaments, and hopefully soon we can host Pokemon pre-releases, because that'd be a big upgrade. We can go from 8 kids on a Tuesday to maybe a 30 people Pokemon tournament. And that'd be a big deal. My son really did learn to multiply because he wanted to use Mewtwo's X-Ball ability, and we didn't teach him how to multiply. He just kind of learned it because he was intrinsically motivated by the cards and how cool he thought Mewtwo was, and that ability that's honestly pretty powerful. So he taught himself because he was motivated by the game. And the reading and the math that he does regularly with Pokemon, and the pretend play and the creative imagination, it all ties together. And you know what? He watches the Netflix shows, watches TV, and that's not great for a brain, but it invigorates his interest in things that are good for his brain. So we're perfectly okay with that Netflix show as a piece of the puzzle that motivates him to use his brain. So our kid plays Pokemon. He's read some Pokemon chapter books. We buy those. And it's part of the puzzle of how we parent our child and how we educate our child. Because when we sit down and play a Pokemon game with him, that's one-on-one time. He feels gratified, he feels cared for, and he's using those skills that build his reading fluency, his math fluency. And it's very easy for us to motivate him because it's built for children. It's built to capture the imagination of a young boy who wants to go explore the world and catch lots of animals and be friends with everything. So it works well. So Pokemon's a big thing for us. If you notice, I picked 3 items that my family likes here. My dad took home a copy of this, and Hannah's birthday is on the 23rd. So this will be in our house too. Chutes and Ladders, My Little Pony. I mean, honestly, if we look at the value of the components here, see if I can get them on camera right. These little ponies, my daughter is going to love them. And whether or not she plays the game a lot successfully, she's just going to like the ponies. So, this is going to go in our house. This is going to go in our house, and if my son chooses to spend his allowance on it, this probably goes in our house too. We'll see. And you can't eat your profits by buying things that you're going to take home all the time. But it's a pretty good way to build a brand, to build a culture is to do what you're naturally interested in. So that's our plan. We brought in some casual games, we brought in some more Pokemon, we brought in staples like Harry Potter. There's a lot more stuff on the shelf. I processed 4 boxes from Alliance, a lot of it HeroClix. We do have a HeroClix tournament coming up on the 28th. That's probably advertised elsewhere. HeroClix are little figurines that you can do battle with. And we want to make sure we have enough supply for that. We brought in Lord of the Rings HeroClix because some people asked about it. Thor Ragnarok, that movie's coming out. One other thing, and then I'll hush and let the video end because this is a 10-minute video already. We brought in more games that are grabbable size and under 20 bucks. So Portal Heroes is $18. This is an expansion, so this is only 13. But Saboteur is a quick, easy game, $15. Ages 8 plus, 30 minutes, takes very little time to learn. Saboteur Duel is a 2-player game, $15, 30 minutes. We just want easy, grabbable games that don't take a lot of investment, either monetary or learning time, and make people have the chance to have fun with them. So pretty casual looking games, smaller. We want to keep increasing that quality range of games between 10 and 30 bucks. So another thing we did, little games. Maybe you'll come by. See you around.